Please, please.
Nikaenda pa page yangu pa Facebook.
Our viewers in Zambia, in the diaspora and all over the world. Welcome to another one-on-one special edition with our resident professor, Dr. Kasonso, to Bakwetu TV. Dr. Kasonso, welcome.
Thank you, sir. How are you today? It's good to see you.
I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
How is America?
The Washington is good. It's very cold out here. We've had a bit of a snowstorm, and we were kept indoors, but we've been able to go out. The roads are cleared and stuff, but it's very cold, so you're not hanging outside. You're mostly indoors.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very cold in the UK, but no snow, a bit of ice. But I understand it's raining. Madam Anna is doing a lot of damage in Zambia.
Yeah, we feel for our people back home in Zambia, and we hope they are getting some help.
Yeah. Before we go into the business, I just want to quote one of Vakasonso's best quotes.
Uh-huh.
Muzungu wabula kajo
Oh,
kafuafua
well,
kumusebenzela ne.
yeah, Mzungu wa Mrakacho. Yeah, the boss that doesn't pay good wages, don't work for them. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to
Yeah.
Bakwetu TV. This Monday segment on TV Bakwetu is called One on One with Dr. Kasonso. We'll be talking about current issues in business, finance, with a focus in Zambia. My name is Patrick, and I'm your host today. Let me just give you an overview of the financial indicators in Zambia. At the close of business today, just hold on, our viewers. At the close of business today, the US dollar to the kwacha was buying at 18 kwacha and 3 ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha and 18 ngwe. The United Kingdom pound, sterling pound, was buying at 24 kwacha and 19 ngwe and selling at 24 kwacha and 26 ngwe. The euro was buying at 26 kwacha and 11 ngwe and selling at 20 kwacha and 17 ngwe. The South African rand was buying at 1 kwacha and 15 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha and 16 ngwe. And there was a slight depreciation from the rates at the year end, but the kwacha continues to hold relatively strong against the major convertible currencies. Our viewers, before we can start talking to Dr. Kasonso on the business today, we'll continue with um,
Natosha, check your sound. There's it is I think a distortion that's coming out from there.
okay. I think it's the phone. Let me remove the phone. I have to switch off my phone. Thank you, Dr. Kasonso. Sorry, our viewers, about that. Can you
Um,
hear me?
yeah, you can play back the song, or I can hear you, but there's a distortion that's coming from the phone. You can mute it a little bit. I can take over from you a little bit whilst you fix it.
I've switched off the phone.
Okay, try.
Are you still getting the echo?
Yes, I am.
Mm. I've switched off the phone.
Now it's clear.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, because yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was from the phone. Sorry, our viewers, about that. And I was saying today we're gonna going to continue talking about um, economic development with Dr. Kasonso. But before I do that, um, as a culture or tradition, I'm just urging you, all the viewers all over the world, that you start sharing this program and start sending those lovely stars, and also subscribe to Bakwetu TV. That's how Bakwetu. We are not a commercial TV. We make money through stars and also subscription. Become a Bakwetu TV member by only subscribing $4 a month, which is about £3.60 per month and about 80 kwacha per month. Thank you so much, Dr. Kasonso. Today
Yep.
we're going to talk about we're going to continue with where we left last time, business development, and the term economic development. The term economic development has been associated with creative destruction. How would you relate this to copper mining in the lower Zambezi? Thank you, Dr. Kasonso.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, so the last show, Mr. Chilufya, if you would remember, we looked at economic development, and we said that there were different definitions of economic development over the years. And at one time, we looked at economic development to be synonymous with Western civilization, urbanization. It was also looked at the same thing as just trying to make your country look a lot like Western countries. Do you know, when your country is looking like Kubulaya, Fabasungu, quarter development. So, yeah, and at some point, people, scholars had to look squarely into what really this animal called economic development, what it is. And after 1950, they pinned down the notion to relate to the idea that economic development is actually all about improving the welfare of mankind. So they identified about 9 features, and we spoke about them in the prior session. So another scholar pinned this phrase called creative destruction. Creative destruction refers to the incessant product and process innovation mechanism by which new product units replace outdated ones. This restructuring process permeates major aspects of macroeconomic performance, not only long-run growth, but also economic fluctuations and structural adjustments, functioning of factor markets over the long run. And the process of creative destruction accounts for over 50% of productive growth. So creative destruction means that it talks about a process where new products are replacing old ones constantly. Lelo mwakwata iPhone 1, mwakwata iPhone 7, all on the go, constantly like that. Today, you have a park where children are playing. Tomorrow, you're building their shopping mall. That is creative destruction. Today, it's a game park. Tomorrow, it's a mine. That is creative destruction. So creative destruction has an impact at 3 levels. The first level is at the macro level. That is where we measure it at the aggregate level, at the country level. It's constantly going on, and there's an impact from there. There is a reason why it's going on at that level. And then there's at the business cycle frequency level. In the business cycle, restructuring typically declines during recessions, and this adds significant costs to downturns, obstacles to process creative distractions, and we can have severe short-term and long-term macroeconomic consequences. And creative destruction refers to the incessant product process innovation mechanisms by which new product units replace outdated ones. Of course, this phrase was coined by Schumpeter, and he said that it is the essence of capitalism. So that's at the business cycle level. And then we can talk about at the micro level. This is basically where the idea of starting a mine in the lower Zambezi is, because it is at the micro level. It's down there where the people are. It's not a national issue level. It is down into the community level. It's a business enterprise being started in the community, which has been, for the most part, a game park. So restructuring is characterized by countless decisions to create, destroy production arrangements. These decisions are often complex, involving multiple parties, as well as strategic and technological considerations. The efficiency of those decisions not only depends on managerial talent, but also hinges on the existence of sound institutions that provide a proper transactional framework. Failure along the dimensions can have severe macroeconomic consequences once it interacts with the process of creative destruction. So what we're saying here is this. What happens at the micro level will have an effect at the macro level. In both spheres, management, good management is required. So there is going to be a change in the way we structure our activities. There is a choice that is going on here, or there's a choice that has happened here. Are we going to get tourism dollars, or we are going to go beneath our feet, beneath our houses, beneath our huts, and have people come with equipment and their investments and dig for something beneath us to improve the welfare of the community around us? It seems to me that a decision has been made that we are going to get involved in a concept that has been called in economic development studies, that has been called the creative destruction. We're going to destroy what is there and create something else in its place to improve the welfare of the people around us. So that is creative destruction of Achilofia. And that is what is going to be going on there. We've had this before. We had this when they started the mines on the Copper Belt, when we started the mines under Mwanawasa in the Northwestern Province. We can't say, no, those places are just good for the elephants to be sleeping there. Do you think that where they have built the mines in Northwestern Province, Babokwe never wanted to be sleeping there? Eh? There were bedrooms of the lions there also. But we went and dug mines there. So we get in this process where human beings can restructure their community setting and bring in different activities for different reasons and at different times. So that is how we have to think about this. It's to restructure the way we live at the micro level to not only adjust the welfare of the people at the macro level, but also adjust the welfare of the people everywhere and affect positively the factors at the macro level.
Dr. Kasonso, that was fantastic. But I'm going to divert you quite away from finances into emotional, psychological issues. Kasonso, we grew up in the Copper Belt. I grew up in Kitwe, Mindolo, mining township. There were parks, football grounds, just a few meters from our house. There was a space where we could play football, Impelwa, and all those things. Parklands was called parklands because there were parks and everywhere. Now, there's nothing like that. When I went back, I was shocked. They've built houses everywhere. So we're talking about creative destruction. But this has nothing to do with macro or micro issues. This has to do with what's the impact of such destruction of parks and walking. When you come to the UK here, there are walking bushes where you can just walk and nobody will destroy them. We've got parks everywhere. What is the social psychological impact of that?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Chilofia. We see What we have to bear in mind that everything we do and everything we have has a cost. So what we have to have as a group of people is a give and take approach. We have to say to ourselves, for this we are giving, what are we taking? So if what we are giving is a lot more than what we are taking, then we're not living well. So then we have got to take something more, that is more, and give away something that is a little less. So then our way of life will be going forward. I regret that you lost your packs in Kitwe, and I will not speak for you because in those packs, but I have a view that maybe poor decisions were made, or maybe decisions based on greed were made. But if the decisions were made to take more and give away the less, then the good decisions were made. If you are replacing something that is giving you $10 with something that is giving you $1,000, then you're a wise man. But if you are giving away what is giving you $1,000 with something that is giving you $10, in the Bible, you are a fool.
Thank you so much, Kasonso. Let's move on to the next question. It is of course a legal political issue, an environmental issue, but most importantly, mining copper in the lower Zambezi is a microeconomic issue. What makes this necessary today?
Mr.
Thank you,
Chilufe,
Doctor.
yes, Mr. Chilufe, you're an accountant. When the previous government tried to authorize mining in that area, the previous government, the PF government, made all of us, Zambian people, losers. Everything they go and touch, they lose. Any financial contract they go and sign, they lose. They were just losers. They come back and say, hey, we got the mine back. We got our mine back. You go and check the books. They just got cast into a big debt. The whole country lost. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that even that mine, if you pursued it with them, it would have just ended up to be a net loss to the whole country because they didn't understand money. They were losers. So maybe it was in some way, it was providential that didn't go forward because in their corrupt way of thinking and knitting things, they may have not tried to wing it. But from where I'm sitting and the way I see it, I know that there was a legal case that was won, and there is no jurisdiction to prevent that mining corporation from proceeding with an open pit mine in the lower Zambezi. So it's a legal issue to that degree. But if you go at the macro level, one of the things that we need to do, one of the goals of this new government is to grow the economy, to expand the economy. And one of their goals is to expand copper production. And here is an asset sitting at the lower Zambezi with deposits of copper under the people. So it is in line with their long-term goals at the macro level to increase copper production. It's an easy way to help them get there. So if they have set that goal, they need help the government to do that. Two, but if you're an accountant, what do we call a company that is unable to continue in operational existence for the foreseeable future?
That company is no more. It's liquidated.
That is Zambia for you, Andalung.
Mm.
Zambia was failing to even pay its own debts. And even right now, the debt stock is so huge. So any little deposit you can find anywhere to help you create some revenue, some resources, it is a welcome project. The economy is on life support because of the huge debt stock. If you find diamonds under State House, I would rather you demolish KK's house to go and get those diamonds there so you can pay off those debts you have. So we can't enter these arguments where we are saying, oh, where we go into the sentimentals. Itakuwa bokwe ma sentimentals mo kongolenko ndalama shavene. No, you can't come and take over this house. It was left from me by my grandmother. Chinda wale kongwela indalama. So the nation, if it was a company, it was going to be taken over by other foreign entities. So we got to find the resources to pay off other people's money that was borrowed in our name. If we got resources and other investors have come there, we got to make sure we get a cut out of that so we pay off that debt. So it is a welcome venture. So those sentimentals, no mining in the lower Zambezi, no this. If your grandfather left a witchcraft crocodile in the lower Zambezi, we are going to dig under it so we can get the money. So it's necessary today because of Zambia's financial position. It is necessary today because we need to develop every part of Zambia. There is need for economic development to even go there. Then it is necessary today because of even just the mass unemployment situation. There are no, think about it, Wachirufu. Copper, the price of copper in today's world. And if we try to do something with new products and new industries in that area, we are going to grow that economy. People will have jobs there. I don't even want to say jobs in the mines, just in the sub-industries that will be related to the mines. The equipment that they're bringing there, the constructions that they're bringing there. But most importantly, the impact on the coffers at Bank of Zambia will be very useful to the Republic of Zambia. So we have to tell all the people with very good sentiments about their villages in that area. We also had villages in Rumwana. But that mine is supporting the Bank of Zambia in Lusaka. Is not everybody happy when the Kwacha appreciates after that mine pays some money there? So let's go together. Tiende pamoja wa Zambia. So it's necessary right now. The country is in a very difficult financial position. Any resource we can find, any investment we can find, we are to do that, Bachirofi.
That's fantastic, Bakasonso. Bakasonso, London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, they are now calling copper as the next god. So, which means Zambia, in the next 50 years, if we manage our copper resources properly, Zambia will be another Dubai. Because, Bakasonso, there won't be oil. Oil will be there, but it's just to lubricate cars and machines. Cars now will be on electrical, they will be running with electricity. And Bakasonso, just the big news. One of the towns in the UK has discovered a mineral that is used in the manufacturing of the batteries of the electric cars. Tesla wants to come and invest over $1 billion in the UK.
Wow.
That's just news. So
the California company.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because of that mineral they've discovered in one of the towns in the UK.
Yeah.
So this is where Zambia is heading to. But Bakasonso,
okay.
When you go under the Reserve Bank of the UK, the United Kingdom, Bank of England, you know what is in there? Gold reserves. They've been piling gold from South Africa and other countries for so many years, for decades.
Yeah,
Don't
for
you think
hundreds of
Zambia?
years.
Can you think
People
Zambia?
people don't know why the United
Once we've
States.
paid, just
Eh?
hold that thought,
Okay.
Bakasonso.
Okay.
Once we've paid the debt and we are stable, don't you think we can start keeping copper and cobalt as reserves also? Over to you, Bakasonso.
Thank you for that thought. Actually, you've brightened up my mood that copper, for the value it is heading to have, should not always be shipped out of the country. They should be kept somewhere for future use. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the money managers back home in Zambia should think about. Yeah, you know, you know, you know, I regret this very much in my life that our heritage were of either hunter gatherers or cattle herders. That's our heritage. Our heritage were either hunter gatherers or cattle herders. We didn't have uh, merchant families or trader families for the longest time in the history of our traditions. But now we have. So, to hell with that history. So, we've got to adapt to these techniques of survival in the 21st century. And those type of skills involve holding resources and keeping them, and keeping them. So we've got to do that, Wachiruf. We've got to do that. You're an accountant, Wachiruf. How does a company grow from its internal resources? What is that account from which it grows? What do you call it? The RE. It's simply called returned earnings. At the end of each year, you return earnings. In simpler terms, you keep more of what you earn. But we come from subsistence families, and we run a subsistence country. We have to stop that. We can't run a subsistence country and survive in the 21st century. What that means is that we've got to be returning earnings in our country. Kadola konsa kumwapanga. Ako papa mwakuba kwela muningo ni basi baya kasha ku South Africa. Basa kufeni chinto bamfuna win. We got to quit that culture. Kadola kada kutuwapanga. Kafiri kai kalapanga, and that's okay. Returned earnings.
Fantastic, Makason. So retained earnings
Yes.
in government, in economics, is reserves.
Of course.
So
That's what it is.
no company will survive without
Returned earnings.
Because that's what they
earnings.
use to plow into the business and expand for projects.
Or investment. It's returned earnings.
Yeah, Bakasonso. Yeah, I need to take you backwards on the issue of creative destruction. We talked about putting a copper mine in the lower Zambezi. Yeah, and there are pros and cons, and not only that, there's a court ruling on that should go on. So there's a jurisdiction there. So it will be very difficult to fight that one. But in the UK, even in America, there've been people, the environmentalists, they wanted to expand Heathrow. I think you've been at Heathrow now. Before that expansion with the new terminals, it looks beautiful. They were people who were fighting that, and and then on the other hand, people were fighting that there are no jobs or there are no good jobs, and then the government is trying to create good jobs, and then the environmentalists are saying no. But then, Makason, so there's some questions here on the chat, which I don't want to put there, but I'll ask you a question. Some people are saying, yes, okay, as long as the animals are moved properly somewhere else where they will be habited, that will be okay for the lower Zambezi copper mines. Just like people were moved in Lumwana and Kansanshi everywhere. But they are saying, think of Forest 27. We're talking of water reserves. So is building on Forest 27, which is going to affect, which is going to contaminate the water in Lusaka. Is that not? What are the benefits there? What's the cost and benefit there? Do you think there are more benefits of building on Forest 27?
I see. This is where, Bachelor, I had a problem with Mr. Lungu's government. I don't know the ethos. I just don't know where those brothers of ours, where they dropped from, how they made decisions. Mumone mugodi kuli wakuingisha abantu amachito nokuleta kadi ucho Mzambia balesha byaba successful. Forest 27 iyakuwa femi karire ya Lusaka, the most populated place. Basuminisha. It's like abantu basalapo ukwendela kumaboko elo balalila kumakasa. You see that level of wisdom? I don't know how to even describe it. The decision to go and build in Forest 27 was not a wise one. And that ends the story. The decision to stop the mining there, maybe they didn't know how to handle the money and all the aspects related to that, was also not a wise one. So there is consistency in them not making wise decisions. So Forest 27, that's what they should have stopped. On the other side, that's what they should have done. They should have gone ahead. They should have just done the opposite things. And that's what I think. But ever to land up a sometimes kuya sarikira, sometimes kuya namkuya verenga ku school. Sometimes kuya tekanish. Takupanga ma decisions ya kuteke challenge na mukolo.
So Bakasonso, thank you so much on that. Back to electric vehicles. There are some people, I just put a question there. There's some people are saying value adding, not only keeping copper as reserves. Why can't we add value to that? Because Bakasonso, I told you a story of the lithium mineral found in one of the towns in the UK. And then Tesla says 1 billion investment in the UK. And we've got minerals, copper. Why can't we start manufacturing? Because cobalt is going to be needed. Those electrical vehicles, there must be cobalt in their engines there. So why can't we start, manufacturing even parts, spare parts, batteries for electric cars? Imagine this mine in the UK that discovered lithium. If they were just exporting lithium without adding value, would Tesla come to the UK? But what they are doing is they are saying, Tesla, come and invest here instead of exporting lithium. So they actually adding value. What's your take about that?
You've heard the president of Zambia, Mr. Hichilema, His Excellency, constantly he uses the word value addition. Value addition. I like that in the sense in which I understand it. Value addition simply means increasing companies that are participating in that supply chain, in the value chain, doing more with the product. So if you produce the copper, introduce companies that can do more with that product within the country. If if we can do that, then we found a way to live as Zambians in our own country. And we will see even more Zambians going back home, because those type of companies require a little bit more technology and more education. You understand what I'm saying? And also they require more investments. Yeah. But for that to be to happen, we still have to work on certain other fundamentals in terms of the economy. We have to stop being the drip, 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 drip economy. You know, the drip, drip, drip economy is like this water bucket that is every season gets water from rainfall, but it's got so many holes at the bottom, and it drips. The water drips out. So we've got to stop being a drip, drip, drip bucket to be a holding bucket, where if the water drops in, the water stays there. We've got to be a country that can keep its own resources within its borders. That is how we can maintain and sustain the value chain, the supply chains, the value addition industries. That's how we can do that. And we can do it. Right now, we have enough resources, enough manpower, and enough education. Even within Zambia, without involving foreigners, we have the capacity and the skills to institute that. There is a little support from policy that we need, of course, and a lot of will from security wings to guard the borders and to monitor what comes into the country and what goes out of the country. If we can do that, I used to argue on another show which we did several years on radio. It's akachalo kache paka no 18 million people. It's a small country. It's not like lesa mipela abantu 250 million ero mipela 50 kwacha tsungena abantu 250 million. That country is so small with so many resources. Abantu titibale la lensala. There is a way to organize the country. And the people of goodwill, people of great brains, and people of effort and hard work can turn that country around. And it can be done.
Thank you so much, Kasonso. Kasonso, Zambia's situation, especially under PF, made me cry. And that's why you and me, in our comfort zones, we decided to put our lives on hold and fight for Zambia. Because, Kasonso, there's no way 18 million with all those resources, land, water, everything, we can be suffering. And all that boils down to one thing: bad leadership. Now, look at this government. This government makes me sleep well nowadays. This is another topic, Kasonso. Fuel is going down. I've been talking about this, Kasonso. In the UK, Kasonso, there's no ARB to announce the prices going up and down. Market forces. What happens? If crude is going down, the next 3 months you're gonna see prices going down.
Yeah.
If crude starts going up, the next 3 months you see prices going up.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's happening. When there is good leadership, things happen. People prosper. The Bible is very clear that where there's no leadership, where there's no vision, the people perish. With the leadership that we have, God willing, continues like this in this trajectory, next 5-10 years, Zambia will be something else. And Bakasonso, I want to take you back. Creative, very interesting topic. Creative,
distraction.
Distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we've got Anastasia around. You know, Anna is doing a lot of destruction. Yes, storms are expected everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But I was watching programs on TV, and you were saying all the parks were taken, they built houses, businesses, which is good for the economy. But Bakasonso, there have been houses that are flooded not because of Anna. Yes, Anna is one of the reasons, but they could have been avoided.
Yeah.
People were building in the banks of the rivers. Who allowed them to start with? Putting shops, everything. Of course, they were going to benefit people, but now rivers, they know where they end, and if there's a storm like Anna, they will expand.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Houses will be on water. What's your advice, Bakasonso, on our town planners, the council, the
Yeah.
ministry of which ministry is under you know what is that constructive creative destruction? Thank you.
Advice apo bachilufya nombapo twalafumana muli finances whatever advice twala pefe kwa Yesu kale 2000 years ago alipere omulumbe pamayanda yabiri kwali ing'anda imo eyakulirwe pachulu naimba ing'anda eyakulirwe pamusensenga ing'anda imo eyakulirwe pachulu bachilufya kwalishile Ana yali minini ile yakulirwe pamusensenga yali ponene elo Yesu aishiletila kwewati nga mwavula ing'anda yenu umwewo wakula pachebo chandi ishiwinde emileba nangu anaisa ukawo ukeminina nomwewobe ukasangu lelo nga wakula ing'anda yobe wakano kula ing'anda yobe umwewobe pamano yobe ananga isoka yapona abantu balebela amafunde abalebomba mukanso abalebomba ma ministries bale konka procedure bela ba corrupt abantu bale konka inshila ya mweo bale kwata imibele isuma abantu bale konka efunde abantu bale konka esukulu abantu bale chitifi nto ufwili fyaba abantu bale kwata umuchetekanya Bakaundi mukokele ngankambo You see, that's the advice we can give. Follow the law. There is a price to pay when we don't. Sometimes, the price doesn't have to come from the police. It doesn't have to come through the police or political consequences. Sometimes the consequences can come from nature. And that's what is happening there. We are not saying everybody who has lost a house or it's because they didn't follow the law. No, we can't be that. But what we are saying that there are certain things that can be avoided if we do things properly. But we put other people in harm's way when we try to create shortcuts or make unnecessary cuts, or we don't live well together as a community or as a country when we don't follow great and useful and proven principles.
Thank you, Bakasonso. Back on the mining issue, Bakasonso, what should we expect from this new mining venture? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bachelofia. This mining venture, should know that the global eyes are on them. The Zambian people are looking. They should be a good corporate citizen. They should distinguish themselves as a company with excellent management and techniques of operation. We expect them to have cutting edge technology. So we don't expect them to have a lot of employees. So don't go there and expect that they will employ every villager in that tribe. And learn from Bakwetu. Bakwetu thought that everyone will have a job. Not every Kaonde is employed in Lumwana. Yeah, so we expect them to have cutting edge technology. We expect them to obey all environmental laws and put to shame the false politics of care for the environment, this and all the theorems. Mining can be done very well without damaging the environment. We have had very old mines on the copper belt. Have you heard of any damages to the environment? Bachelor, imigodi shisha wa copper belt kumwe sukuli yokotu wakudi. Mwalimu fawati tinaba wana wala environment.
No, Dr. Kasonso.
Nomba ule mugodi wanyi ukula kulowa Zambezi chinishi walasa wana wala environment. Abantu kubale kwata kwa mano mufimbila wilaka kabantu imipashi. So if you are ingira mulefu aka contract abana bapoa contract ele moya bela ku environmental council. Allah, shame on you people. So yeah, so we expect them to be good corporate citizens, and because of the scrutiny that has preceded them, I hope they are careful enough to prove them wrong. Treat the people right, create amenities, make good friends of the community you're going to be. Even the animals, people saying they are not going to be taken care of, go make friends with those animals. And help take care of the welfare of the animals around that mine. And you will be the darling of Zambia. Make that mine the best mine the country can ever have. Because there's been a lot of noise around that mine. So that's what we expect. We expect this mine to distinguish itself. And whilst I'm on it, if I was there more advising their investment portfolio, I would expect them to not just dig the copper and take it to your children, realize that they're Zambians like us. We will be looking where your financials are. We will go on your stock exchanges and see what is happening. We will see how the money is moving and where you're taking it. And we will go and tell the people in that village that you're stealing from them. So invest in that community. That's what we'll be expecting from them. So, yeah, we are expecting them to employ our people and to treat our government with respect. We don't expect them to be disrespecting our government. We don't expect them to be duping our government. We know that there is this thing of hiding in the taxes. The taxes is a formula. Every business employs the best accountants to be able to give only the taxes that are required and avoid as much as possible to make a good investment to make a good return for their investors. Yeah, but don't go to Zambia or don't start working in Zambia hoping to survive on the tax tricks. The president over there is a chief executive officer of accountants. He ran an accounting firm. So we will meet in the books, but we expect this company to operate with utmost integrity and help the cause of Zambia and help the dreams of our government as well. So I think I am hopeful for the success of this corporation, and I hope that they find as much deposits of copper in the lower Zambezi. It would be very heartbreaking that after they bring the equipment and they fight for so many years, and then they go underneath and they find that the copper isn't there that much. But I wish them well.
Now, Kasonso, still on the lower Zambezi copper mine. Do you know who are the owners of these mines?
It's an Australian company.
And And with the new HH has been talking about Zambians to be involved in every investment. So do you think the government will pass a law which should allow this mine to be 50% owned by Zambians?
The percentage is not important to me, but what is important to me is what I call a stake for the Zambian people to have an important stake to justify that operation. I don't think, let me give you an example. The PF government, they have 100% stake in some mine that they took over from an investor. But their stake in that corporation is totally meaningless. They are saddled with debt, but on paper they are the 100% owner. And the person they bought, the company they bought that mine from, literally is still the owner, and they sell everything they mine from that mine to that company. You understand what I'm saying? So the ownership percentage is a very silly way of looking at 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 at, 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 at what you get out of it. The mine the PF says they repossessed, they owe more money on that mine to the company they repossessed. So that company is still the owner because it has a lien on that mine. So substantively, that ownership is meaningless. You understand what I'm saying? So if the government goes to this new corporation and they say they have 50% and whatever, they can have that. But there is a way in which agreements are organized that even the 50% doesn't mean the government gets half of the resources from it. But it's to be able to understand how mining revenues or mining proceeds are organized and making sure that the government gets enough of those proceeds. The people of Zambia, particularly, not only the government, the people of Zambia get enough stake out of that, whether through taxes or through shareholdings or through royalties or through other arrangements. So you have to study the value chain and how that corporation is going to operate. And if you see they at different stages, they're able to get a stake, that's fine. Don't go for 50%, 50 what? No. The person cannot bring heavy equipment, the caterpillars, and their great grandfather's money, and then they are the ones who are even digging, and they've left their wives and their girlfriends in Australia, and then you even felt you were only keeping a big elephant, which you were even afraid to go and see. It's only people from Ireland who are coming to see. You are keeping that stone, and then you say, let's get 50-50. Which business can you do in this world like that? So it's to make sure that you participate enough in the enterprise, and in different ways at different stages in the value chain, the people of Zambia are benefiting from that activity. That's the way I see it.
Kasonso,
Okay.
still on the mines, and I always talk about Botswana. When De Beers. By the way, one of our viewers is saying Kasonde Mundanshi. He's
Yeah.
saying, Dr. Kasonso, there's no copper there, it's gold. Then that's a different ball game, Bakasonso.
No, if it's no, the government knows that. If it's gold,
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's a
they go for
different ball
gold.
game. But
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Bakasonso,
Mm-hmm.
is De Beers
Uh-huh.
goes to Botswana,
Uh-huh.
and Botswana says, no, we're gonna go because this is our copper, Bakasonso. This is our copper. You are getting our copper. So De
Yeah.
Beers says no to Botswana says no to De Beers. You're gonna mine our diamonds. Come here, joint venture.
Yes.
We don't care whether you're bringing money, but you're mining our resources.
Yes.
So the only way the Swanas are gonna benefit is a joint venture, 50-50. And that's how De
Mm-hmm.
Beers Botswana was birthed. But Bakasonso,
Mm-hmm.
there's something here. That time, the Swanas, even the government,
Yeah.
only De Beers knew that that mine is going to be the single diamond largest producer, the single mine, the single diamond largest producer in the world. Can you believe it? Now imagine if they had given all that to De Beers, all the
Yeah.
money was going to go to London because De Beers is based in London.
Yeah.
But the Swanas said 50-50. And only
Mhm.
to discover that the diamonds that are there,
The
there's no
largest
mine
in the
anywhere
world.
in the world
Uh-huh.
that has that kind of diamonds, the quantity of diamonds underground. So
Wow.
this is what HH has been talking about. This is what I've
Yeah.
been agitating.
Yeah.
Why can't these guys are, yes, they are
Mhm.
bringing investments, but
Yeah.
we've got our copper or our gold. Why can't we go 50-50 from the word go?
You know, here is what.
And then Bakasonso,
Yes, sir.
before you go any further,
Uh, uh-huh.
Botswana has passed some laws, which says De Beers went to Botswana. You cannot bring even an artisan from South Africa because there's so many in South Africa. In Zambia, I heard stories when Lumwana was opened and Kansanshi started again. They the moment a South African guy, I'm not against South African, white South African guys, becomes a mining manager or engineer, he
Mm-hmm.
was bringing his relatives with diplomas from South Africa, even accountants. They were bringing with
Mm-hmm.
diplomas from South Africa, while our Zambian graduates, some of
Mm-hmm.
them
Right. You
who
see
were
it.
pruned from the mines, were
Mm-hmm.
walking in the street. So why can't we
Yeah.
pass laws to restrict and
Yeah.
also Bakasonso, the locals have to benefit.
Yeah.
Why we need to agree from the word go.
Mm-hmm.
Management has to be 50-50. And
Mm-hmm.
even give these organizations after 5-10 years, they should be a Zambian director for this company.
Mm-hmm.
Train a Zambian. I'll give you an example. When I
Mm-hmm.
worked for BP,
Yeah.
I moved to South Africa after '94.
Yeah.
When I arrived there, they had passed a law on
Mm-hmm.
black empowerment. You
Yeah.
remember about that affirmative action,
Yes.
and that law was passed in
Mm-hmm.
'94, giving
Mm-hmm.
all companies 5 years
Mm-hmm.
to enact that law, to
Yes.
enforce that law.
Yeah.
And not only that, they were also given another 5 years, which is 10 years
Yeah.
for organizations. So that 5 years was
Mm-hmm.
black empowerment and
Mm-hmm.
also selling the stake of all foreign companies at least
Yeah.
40%, from 25 to 40% to the
Yeah.
local companies. And then in addition to that, they were
Mm-hmm.
given another 5 years, which is 10 years to
Mm-hmm.
groom a South African to take over the leadership of those organizations. And I saw that happening.
Yeah.
So why can't we pass such laws? And not only that, Bakasonso, Botswana has passed laws limiting how much an investor can bring. And that brings me to a situation in Zambia where you find, I don't want to mention them, an investor from an Asian country selling chickens and tomatoes
No,
and
no, no,
bananas
no,
in the
no,
streets.
no. Basata bali Kenya. You
Now,
think?
Bakasonso,
Mm-hmm.
if an investor from that country is selling chickens,
Mm-hmm.
can that investor compete with the Zambian selling keeping chickens? Over to you, Bakasonso.
Thank you, Bachilofe. Uyu mwachilandapo oyo investor basata bali Kenya te investor oyo ni investor. Oyo weza mukuchitisha nkoko. Awe. But anyway, I understand that those strong policies, almost to the point of hostility, um, of requesting a certain proportion of people to be in the company and to participate. Yeah, anyway, if we need to do some things like that, then we need to introduce those things as a common policy to all mines. We can't make it specific to this mine. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the way I see it, we should see it as in terms of the role that government should play in terms of the benefits, translating benefits to the people who voted for them. I don't see why, up to this point, we don't have such policies in Zambia. Seriously, we have mass unemployment in Zambia, and we have seen these so-called investors bring people from their own countries and at the expense of the Zambians. I don't know why we don't have a policy on that. In the prior government, we saw them more than 50% in a certain portfolio. I have heard this president say, telefokola monama crane drivers, wale fimokfialo fimbi, wasavena Zambia chitokutibachita. And it's very simple to do. You can create a law and coordinate it even through immigration. Umuntu lesa mkwikala muzambia lefu mkuchalo chimbi. Ati ni crane driver. No, crane driver fuira bamwe na Zambia. Chalo chaba busuchiria. Umuntu tete afume kuli kusiti imbi achani atesa mkuwa mwene ni crane driver. No. Inchi tuwa bena Zambia shokutiwa hapo mbako na bena. Na kuno kuna kutuwa hapa kufialo. I am at HB1 visa shana. Tabapela every Jiman Jack. There's certain specialized set of skills that you have to get that type of visa to live in this country on those type of immigration issues. So they have to do comprehensive government policies for the entire industry or for the whole country. You understand what I'm saying, Watufi? Specifically, maybe shake up the whole system. The things that they would like to see in this one new mine, take those things and implement them as industry-wide. And maybe that's where they may have to take time. Yeah. So, iyo nachikani na pari yako ownership, if you have 50-50, if you want to have 50-50 and all those kind of things. If you do that industry-wide, then first of all, where are the prior agreements? And what's the impact of the prior agreements on those companies? And then what message are you sending to them? So you don't want to disrupt the business structure too much. So would that be disruptive? For example, you can implement some of those things on an incremental basis. That's my approach, actually. That's what I prefer. Because of the pre-existing companies and because of the pre-existing agreements, you can start implementing some of those on an incremental basis. You don't just introduce something into the market on a drastic basis. So maybe the new companies are required to adopt those policies immediately when they're operating. The old companies can go on an incremental basis, picking up some of those practices and policies, and some of those steps, they can pick them up immediately. So, but I do think that government has a role in regulating industries and in making sure there's fair play. The businesses are benefiting the people, not just in terms of employment, but also in holding a stake and the equity in these investments that are being arrayed or being brought in our country. We do see that we have a good export portfolio, but we don't see a lot of that money coming back to Zambia. Why? Because we don't own a lot of those things. The ownership is very low. So I can understand your quest for a 50%. I can also say, hey, let's increase the stake. If it's 50% and people agree with that, I would support what the people want. I am the guy for an incremental approach. Yes, they are taking our things. We can get a lot more than we are getting. We keep more of what we earn, and we work like that to improve our chances and compete with other countries that are looking for the same capital.
Kasonso, South Africa was one of the countries that learned, maybe because they got independent later than us, they learned from us. You know how we did the nationalization?
Yeah.
I was young, obviously. I wasn't born 1964.
Oh, no,
But
you
when I
can.
started growing up, I
Mm-hmm.
learned about nationalization. We did it
Mm-hmm.
so fast
Mm-hmm.
without planning. But South
Yeah.
Africa,
Mm-hmm.
Bakasonso,
Mm-hmm.
they gave them a window period,
Yeah.
5 years,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
to restructure their businesses.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and companies had 5 years. We can do that also. Bakasonso, when laws are enacted, they can
Yeah.
be enforced prospectively or
Yeah.
retrospectively.
Yeah.
So we can. There's always a starting point. Bakasonso, if
Mm-hmm.
you look at the leakages, you're the one who talks about leakages, money going out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
South
There's
Africa,
some those.
Botswana,
Uh-huh.
South Africa, Botswana.
Yeah.
You know that the revenue for the beers, they come into
Mhm.
the reserve bank in Botswana. All
Really?
the revenues,
Mhm.
100%, and
Yeah.
then the beers only get dividends, 50%. Or when they are buying machinery which cannot be procured in Botswana, that's when they will use the forex. Why do we have shortages of forex? Because we are at the mercy. Our biggest earning product in Zambia,
Mm-hmm.
or contributor of GDP and dollars in Zambia, is copper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if copper is owned 100% or almost 180% by foreigners,
Yeah.
then we are at their mercies. But we
Yeah.
can
But
still
but
pass
but
laws.
let's ask the question. Okay.
Bakasonso,
Mm-hmm.
before I go any further,
Mm-hmm.
South Africa, Western Union came in all countries, but they were not in South Africa because
Mm-hmm.
South Africa was studying. They thought people will be using Western Union to siphon the dollars out of South Africa. So they were studying how to tighten. They've got a different system, how to tighten or monitor Western Union very well. So South Africa has got some of the most stringent forex exchange policies,
Yeah.
and all companies
Mm-hmm.
that operates in South Africa, foreign companies, they have to
Mm-hmm.
bring their sales into South Africa, and they
Yeah.
only get dividends, just like Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
Bakasonso, why can't we do it? This is the time when copper
Mm-hmm.
is becoming gold, and if there will be gold mining in
Mm-hmm.
the Zambezi, lower Zambezi, Bakasonso, why
Yeah.
should we give 100% that gold to the Australians? And
No,
all
actually,
and all the money start going out to Australia.
yeah, yeah. No, actually, I'm one of the advocates that parliamentarians should go to to the House and abolish 100% foreign owned mines in Zambia. They should go there and abolish 100% foreign owned mines in the Republic of Zambia. Uh, People don't go to other people's countries and go and get mineral rights that gives them 100%. You know, those are not investments. That's daytime robbery. You know, so we don't have those contracts were not signed with utmost economic sense. They're not just, they shouldn't just be done. They're unheard of anywhere, you know. So I don't even know why our people or governments entered into those type of agreements. So I don't think that this venture in the law of Zambezi is structured like that. But if it is, I know that this government, they are on top of things. They will negotiate that venture very well, or if they already haven't. But I don't think it will look like the mine that is owned by 100% Zambia, but they owe more than the value of the portfolio on it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vakasonso, on that. I've got a question which I need to answer. Instead of asking Vakasonso, why not press members of parliament and ministers pass the laws UPND as the votes in parliament? Vadan Kunda. Mr. Kunda, that was a good question. For your own information, Kunda, on Wednesday evening, Zambian time, I think 21:30, 21:30 every Wednesday. We've got a program with our resident. We've got
Member
resident
of
people here.
Parliament.
We've got resident doctors and professors, like Kasonso. We've got also resident medical doctors, like Dr. Barbara Chanda. And then we've got our resident MP,
Member of
Mr.
Parliament.
Mabeta,
Yes.
the MP of Kankoyo. So we ask these questions every week. And for your own information, but Dan Kunda, this question is going to be asked to Mr.
Maveta. Honorable
Mabeta,
Maveta.
Honorable Mabeta this
Yes.
weekend. So
Yes. And is
I hope
probably
we will be
even
watching, and
hearing it.
many other viewers will be watching.
Yeah.
Going towards the end, the last question, Bakasonso, I have for you. So, Bakasonso, what is the role the government should play to ensure the country benefits more than it loses from this deal? What we've been talking about,
Of
the
course.
Zambezi
You've
mining
already,
deal, and I
yes,
understand it's
yes.
gold.
Yeah, we've already answered that question. And
But you can go through it with
oh,
people who have
yeah,
just
so
come
I'll
now.
summarize it. I'll summarize it. The
Yeah, you
road,
can
yeah,
summarize and
yeah.
summarize
So
the and make
what we expect.
Bakasonso. Just hold
Right.
that thought first. So answer that question and give a closing remarks at
Okay,
the
thank
same
you.
time, and then we close the
Yeah.
program.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Let me summarize just the thoughts on the role of government on this. The government should make this investment in the mines as an example of what mining should look like in Zambia. And they should use these policies as standard policies for every mining corporation that is operating in the Republic of Zambia. And the government should use every resource in the Republic of Zambia to be reorganized so that the journey to unshackle the nation out of debt can begin. So in summary, mining in the lower Zambezi is a welcome idea because economic development or economic growth as projected by the Newton government will involve some form of creative destruction, which means we are going to destroy some things out of what we do, replace our old way of doing things with a new way of doing things that will impact different levels of the way we do life. If it was a game park, it doesn't mean it should be a game park until Jesus comes. Even where we have mines on the Copper Belt or Northwestern Province, there were animals that lived in those places. We haven't even seen their grandchildren come to cry over places where they were born because we did some creative destruction over there to improve the welfare of the entire country. We expect that these new mining operators there will exemplify themselves as good corporate citizens, not just offering good employment, but bringing amenities in the community. Copper is the reason why Zambia exists as a country today. Most of us, if the naves were formed of the mainstay, the resource of the country, most of us will have our naves formed and made of copper veins as Zambians. Yeah, so we wish you luck in your business enterprise and let the people of Zambia go out there. And at last, some people in that area also are going to learn to work in the mines and and go get some new job opportunities. So I am signing off. My name is Jones Kasonso, and I start here on Monday nights as Professor Wabantu, bringing difficult topics and try to explain them. Especially when I'm in a good mood. Please join us next week on Monday. Share this broadcast with your friends and send us questions. We do even answer questions even after the show, or suggestions, and send us stars and super chats and all of those kinds. We're just volunteers here. We're just doing what we call public service. We're just offering a service to share some of the things that we're familiar with, some stuff we know, and the wisdom that God gave us. He gave it to us freely, and we give it to you freely. And thank you for watching us tonight.
Kasonso, thank you so much. You always come when we need you, and the way you articulate things is fantastic. Kasonso, your best saying, Muzungu wabula kajo, kafuafu akumusebenzela ne. I think should be the policy of our government.
Oh, yeah.
Investor who does not involve Zambians is like Muzungu wabula kajo.
Muzungu wabula kajo, yes.
Yeah, because Kasonso, God has given us resources.
Yeah.
But because of bad leadership, we messed up opportunities. Imagine Dubai, if they behaved the way we've behaved in the last 54 years. You think Dubai would be the way it is now?
No.
Dubai and Abu Dhabi? No. It's because of good visionary leadership. And those guys are fantastic. They are visionary in the sense that oil, copper is a wasting asset. So even Zambia, our minerals are going to finish. Dubai, the oil is not only finishing, but the world is changing. It's moving from oil-driven products to electric-driven products. And Dubai is changing. Every month there are solar-related expos in Dubai. Dubai is one of the first countries to manufacture a self-driven vehicle. And they are leading in electric cars and tourism. So they've diversified their economy. This is visionary leadership. And Kasonso, I pray that this government, visionary government, New Dawn government, will move Zambia and Zambians from a place, from where they are now, to a place they've never been. Imagine Dubai 30 years ago and where they are now. That's leadership, Kasonso. Moving a country from a desert into a paradise. Thank you, our viewers all over the world. This was a special presentation, one-on-one with Dr. Kasonso. May God bless Zambia. Good night. Bye for now.